Do. So like she said, I'm Shannon Shepherd. I'm a teacher at Betsy Lane High School. I teach art and have been blessed to teach art for a while. The grant that we got this year is not anything new. That's why it's called Old School Innovation Animation. And animation, I didn't really, well, let me say, it is a problem in the sense that my problem is kids are always, we as teachers have to look for things to motivate kids, right? Something they're interested in. So that's how this grant came about. Also, having the funds to buy art materials is always a dilemma that I have. And so the grant fulfills both of those. Beginning of school every year, I always ask my kids, let me say I always ask my Art 2 through Art 4 kids what they want to do they haven't done. My freshman classes, I kind of have a very kind of set curriculum I follow for them. And so my Art 2 through Art 4 classes, I try to throw in some stuff they want as well as stuff that I really want them to learn. And this one, animation, come up this year. It actually came up last year and I let it go. And so I told the kids at the beginning of August, I said, well, we don't have a grant wrote yet. And I said, since you are wanting something to do with animation, I do not like animation. And I'm personally an artist as well as art teacher, but I prefer painting, drawing, and you know, animation is art in motion. So I don't know why I've stayed away from it, but with the kids' desire, we'll say, we were venturing down this road, and I told them if we do the grant, and we are, they have to help me, and they're helping themselves. So our big deal here is we're going to figure out what it is from beginning to present day. And so we are researching, they are, I am. I'm kind of ahead of the game a little bit because we're starting this in November, and I've kind of started looking at past animators and where it began, all that stuff. And so they're going to research and investigate. Hopefully that will pique an interest beyond just the normal writing a paper kind of stuff. You know, we all hate that. But from there, we'll go to the create and produce. And so there's a million, probably not a million, but a lot of ways to do animation. We're going to start out old school, Disney mouse sort of, you know, or Disney's mouse. And then we're going to come from there to present day using digital and flip books, you know, in between. But so it's a lot to encompass for my kids. So we're going to investigate, we're going to create, and then from the creating process, hopefully, they always do this, you know, as you're making something, as you're drawing something, building something, someone always comes up and says, well, I think you could do this different. Or so we'll critique it, we'll analyze it, and that will fall in with our observation, research, all that stuff. We're just assessments, you know. And then hopefully, not hopefully, but they will be exhibiting some of their stuff at sanctioned events. Like Morehead State always does a high school art day that my kids never participate in the animation part because we don't normally do it. So this year we'll have entries in that. And so they'll go through that 4 steps, create or investigate, create, produce, and reflect. And even better than that, after that, a lot of my kids are wanting to go to college and try to do animation in later on, or at least 3 of my 50-some kids are saying that's what they're going to do for real. So, you know, if this, at the end of this, the experience, the opportunity, which KVEC will help provide money for the materials, and the opportunity, those are the big outcomes, a successful outcome. And this sounds crazy, but I have one kid that I really believe will be famous, whether this grant is out there or not. He is an animator. He does some phenomenal work right now. And actually, he's so excited for this grant, he's kind of already jumping ahead and doing some research, and I told him he'd be first to present all that. Some of the things that paper there ask, I know I've talked a while. Okay, so what will my students learn? They'll learn a skill in animation and hopefully use it someday. And if not, they've learned some pretty good art history stuff. The second thing that paper asked, I didn't necessarily do any kind of percentages or any kind of research studies on this, but I did survey my kids and ask what they wanted to do, learn about, and this was their desire. And it's connected with the art curriculum. And sequencing in animation is something awesome. And I did not realize, but if you don't get the sequence right, it doesn't look right, obviously. Like building a house, you got to start foundation up. And then finally, or the third point there, what I hope this really does for them, gives them experience, gives them the opportunity, and it's hands-on. Building a house, it's hands-on stuff that even the research part of it, they're going to do that. It's more academic oriented, but then they get to that part where they create. I want to leave you guys with a quote that I like Walt Disney, and there's an awesome movie. I'll push it. Walt Before Mickey. It's on Netflix, or it was. It's really good. Walt said this: first think, second believe, third dream, and finally dare. Anybody have any questions, comments?